Okay, I created this activity for students that were having trouble with decimal place value. This is just an opportunity for them to kind of be able to move numbers around and physically see what happens when they move them around. And it's engaging because it's on the computer and they like doing that kind of stuff. So the first one says create a number greater than 650. A lot of different correct answers for this one, but kids can go ahead and start moving the cards around. I'm just going to show you how that works. They could put it in different spots, play with the decimal point. No, that won't work. Maybe if I put the decimal over here, so on and so forth. If they're struggling with it and they don't really know what to do, the directions say to head on down to the second slide. And the second slide allows them to put the original number into a place value chart and then move the tile cards around, so this way they can compare them in a place value chart. And if they still struggle with that, they can click on this link down here, which links them to a video explaining how to do that. And I will turn that on now. Feel free to watch the whole thing or to stop it at any point.
Okay, so what you want to do on this worksheet, if you're having any trouble, is you can use this place value chart to help you out. So what you want to do is you want to place the original number from the question into the place value chart. So the original number, looking at question number 1, is 650. So 650, the number itself tells you that there are 6 hundreds. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 6 into the hundreds column. And then 50 means that there are 5 tens. And that's because any number that you put into the tens column is going to be the value of that digit times 10. In this case, 5 times 10, which equals 50. And so then that tells us then, since we already have 50, sorry about that, that tells us that there are 0 ones. So this is what our original number looks like, 650. And you'll notice that the decimal point then is to the right of the 0. So let's try to come up with a number that's bigger than 650. So starting with, let's start with the 2. If I were to go ahead and put the 2 into this column, right away I could see that 6 is bigger than 2, where 6 has a greater value than 2. So that wouldn't actually work. If I put the 2 into this column, 5 has a value bigger than 2. It could possibly work if I have a number greater, if I have a digit greater than 6 in this column, then it's okay for this one to be less. So the largest number that I have up here is a 6. So if I went and I put a 6 here, because these two numbers are the same, I have to take a look at this column. But because the 5 is greater than the 2, this wouldn't actually work. So I can't have a 2 in this column if there's a 6 here. Let's go ahead and put the 2 here. If I put a 2 here, it's possible that it would work, but we have to have a digit in here first. I'll go to my biggest number again, and I'll put a 5 here. Because these numbers are the same, we have to go to the next column. Because these numbers are the same, we would have to go to the next column. And now because the 2 is greater than the 0, this number is in fact bigger than 650. So 652 would work. If we move the 2 into this column, we could try then putting the 0 here. And again, we look at the hundreds, they're the same, so we go to the tens. 5 and 5 are the same, so now we look to the ones. 0 and 0 are the same, so now we look to the tenths. But there's no digit here in the tenths column, so how would I compare these? Well, here's how you would do it. If you don't have a digit after the decimal point, you can assume that you can put a 0 there, and it does not change the value. So if we look at 650 and 0 tenths, based on how we were comparing, the 6s are the same, the 5s are the same, the 0s are the same. When we go to the tenths column, the value in the original number is 0, but in the new number is 2. So 650 and 2 tenths is in fact bigger than 650 by a small amount, 2 tenths, but it is still bigger. So that is an option. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is if we then decided to put the 2 over here, now we're looking at these numbers, and because there's no value in the thousands column in the original number, the simple fact that there is a digit in the new number does make it greater. And in some ways, it's almost like having a 0 over here. So that is a way that you can use this chart to help you figure out the original numbers. I hope that helps.